Like, I do feel like it's hard. Yeah, like, I feel like I know my foot is size 10, but now I'm like, if I'm going to wear, like, a heel at this ankle, I'm going to need a size bigger. Yeah, I think it's doing it to everyone. My dad is the same, because I always buy, I take care of my dad like he's my child. And I'm like, your feet are getting bigger. But I do, like, that's the best thing about gender fluidity, is if a tall girl's shoe game is 10 of 10 improving. But not to give, I just want to say this with women. Like, I've dated a lot of professional athletes. One, like, the love of my life was someone I dated for like 10 years. He was a professional baseball player. And, like, the right man loves a tall woman, right? Like, so if they're out there, like, insecure men that you make feel, you know, that feel weird about you. I've also dated men who were 1 to 2 inches, I'm trying to think, actually 2.5 inches shorter than me, who were like, put heels on, you're hot as shit. Like, the light of my life is to stand next to a hot, tall woman, you know? Like, if you are not an insecure Hispanic man, just say, like, I have hundreds of, I think I was talking about, like, if you look at my first, second, and third cousins in Arizona that are Hispanic, it's terrifying. There's hundreds. And, like, they're just like, I love tall women, you know? So they're out there. You don't, but for some reason, no offense, MAGA men, it seems like you guys are deeply, deeply insecure, and you're looking for someone who you can dominate. That's this, like, weird ideal of never challenges you, and the fact you have no idea what you're talking about, you know, is a trad wife type, is tiny so you could feel like a man. And the other, oh my God, I didn't record it and I should have. It was a very long podcast. But I saw this podcast where a doctor was explaining to a man, because the man was saying, I'm not joking you, it's my wife's V. You know, they were talking about why he couldn't get pleasure from sex. And he was claiming that, I'm just going to say an analogy, because there's a lot of words I don't even know if I could say, but he's like, it's like throwing a hot dog down a hallway. And the doctor was just like, yeah, that's math. That's, like, scientifically not real. You're describing something that's not happening, you know. And she described, like, the, you know, vaginal cavity, how it's muscle, it's a bunch of muscles, and how that's not what's happening there. So if something's happening with you, to look into it, but it has nothing to do with women. Same with the, what is it called, the husband stitch, or the, you know, where, or the mother-in-law stitch, where they stitch the entry to the V closed, like, one more stitch after birth. That does nothing. Like, the rest, that's nothing. That's just going to cause women excruciating pain, so they never want to touch you again. Past that is a tunnel of muscles. Right? Like, like, that's what you don't understand. There's no such thing as she's loose. That's an insecurity of men, you know? Like, sorry. I wish Dr. Daddy was here. She would explain this all with literal, like, models, but I just got blocked out of a Christian live. It happens. Trust me. After what you see I have to present today, it will probably happen here. But, sorry. I got off onto a long tangent of why men, or, you know, some man was insecure and trying to attack my looks. And I just went off on a tangent of why I don't think that's anything any of us need to worry about. Like, never feel bad, ladies. No matter, I get it. I spent my whole life thinking, oh, I'm too tall. Like, some things, I'm 5'9" and 3/4. Like, my teammates were like 6'4", and they're all married to hot professional athlete husbands. Like, don't worry about it. Like, men who are secure in who they are do not degrade women for having long legs. Like, you know what, like, ever. Like, they're just like, hey, I'll climb her like a tree, you know. Like, my Hispanic cousins are like, used to be like, please take me to your volleyball games. Like, I don't care that I'm 5'4", like, I'll figure it out. Like, that's the truth. Like, you know, the right answer is women are beautiful in all forms. And if you are so lucky to touch one at any point, I love how we're all putting our heights. I'm 5'9 3/4" barefoot, but I think with any shoes, it makes me like 5'10" and a half. You know what I mean? But I say that because that was the bane of my existence. I wanted to be 5'11" so bad in Division I volleyball. Just drove me insane. So I know exactly how tall I am and when my growth plate's closed, because wait, hold on. Julie, thank you for the $10 on Cash App. Thank you for all you do. Thank you so much. You guys don't understand. Everything I do on the people's receipts, which I'm going to get into after this, I promise. We got a little diverted by some guy coming up here and making up lies based on his feelings, and then someone attacking my looks in the comments. But we're going to get back on track because I have a lot of interesting stuff to show. Ashley, thank you for the $10 on Venmo. From a fellow effed up and fabulous child of narcissists, I get you. Thank you, Smashly. I need to send you my phone number. We need to start a support group of children of narcissists. So we could just I actually think like we could identify like behavior, like track Trump's behavior better. Cause like that's all I do is just, I watch Trump operate and I'm like, Mommy? Is that you? Mommy, do you love me? It's like Don Jr., the answer is no. He's never going to love you. That's the answer. It doesn't matter how many lies you tell for him. He's never going to love you. But he could my mother, like, I think I shouldn't say things like this, and I don't want to give anyone whose parent is actually. And there's a difference between narcissistic personality traits and narcissistic personality disorder. That's a very small percentage of the population. But they can't change. They can never grow effective empathy, but they can modify their behavior, right? And the most tragic part you have to realize is you don't exist to them. That's the heartbreaking thing that will kill you. Is if you are a child of a narcissist and you're a little bit confused about what you've been observing while watching them your entire life, you don't exist. That's the truth. If you are the golden child, or you're an extension of them. And I'm not saying, even if you're the scapegoat child, you are too, right? Things are fluid with narcissists. You're not always in one role. It can change. When I almost died and was no longer as valuable to my mother, when I wasn't dating famous athletes and she couldn't pretend to be me, then, that role switched. I was like, ew, what's wrong with her? I'm like, me, the person you've been pretending to be for your whole life, you're asking, what's wrong? Yeah, but like we are extensions of them, or at best pawns. They are moving around, right, for attention. You never exist. But I think that I always say, and people are always like, why are you close to your parents after what they've done? Because they're my primary attachments, right? Like, and my mother was so disturbed that I've never attached to another human being in my life. So this is all I've got. And it's like, I think there's a lot, right? Like in current medicine, they'll tell you, if your parent is a malignant narcissist, you got to get away from them right now. They're sucking the life out of you. But once you can recognize what they're doing and how they're doing it and why they're doing it, it's the most pathetic thing ever, right? Like I was talking, not to say it doesn't affect me, because it takes me back to when I was a helpless child and I didn't know why. I didn't understand. And I was like being terrorized. But now that I know and I can see it all, I'm like, you're a helpless, sad, lost, insecure infant that has no idea how to function in life, And I'm like, I'll take care of you, weird little angry infant. Bless your heart. I'm not an only child. I'm an angry middle child. I'm not an only child. My sister was the scapegoat pretty much growing up, and my little brother is like the corporate the only boy. So if you're in a Hispanic family, the only boy's something different. But yeah, like I'm just saying, like once you understand the pathology and you understand who they were, because this is why I say the scary part is Donald Trump is not going to stop until we stop him, and that's scary. We have to stop him. We do. Someone is going to have to physically stop him. He will never stop until that happens. Like, we have to make him stop this. But on the other side of that, narcissists, and a lot of people in America have narcissistic traits. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people with narcissistic personality disorder, which I think is estimated to be like 2 to 3% of the population. But if you talk to psychiatrists who, kind of coin those terms, it's probably much higher in America. I think it's like 6 to 10%, because it's multiplying. It's like rabbits having children. And if your parent is one of those, they're an infant. That's the truth. If your parent has narcissistic personality disorder, they are an infant. They are an infant who is being abused, right? I used to be a teacher, and we take a lot of early childhood development classes. Who these people are, who Donald Trump was, and no one wants to hear this, but I think the perspective of children who were raised by these people is different than like the people who were like, I dated a monster who tried to kill me, right? Like, we attach to these people and watch them, and I'm not saying they didn't abuse us, but we have a different perspective because we loved them, right? Versus like, ew, this weirdo came into my life and tried to ruin it. It's two different things. And we observed them for years. It's like a case study of, I watched this happen for years. And who we all are is decided when we're very young. 1 to 4 years old, it's over. Whoever you are, if you're a monster, that's it. Surprise. It's already been decided. And narcissistic personality disorder is a defense. It is saying, I'm in such a high stress, scary situation. My primary attachment, which is mom, is not meeting my needs. And I'm not blaming mothers, because that can be for a lot of reasons. That can be because dad is an unbelievable abuser and mom can't meet needs because she's being harassed and harangued by some psycho, but it's saying like the most important time of my life, my primary attachment, the bonding of an infant to their primary attachment was interrupted. That is what creates narcissistic personality disorder. It's decided that young, and it is a defense. It's saying, this is never happening to me again. At that young age, for the rest of my life, I'm developing a very disturbing, scary skill set that what's happening to me at this young age is not, this is my defense. And if it's malignant narcissism is different than just narcissistic personality disorder. Narcissistic personality disorder, that defense is, I'm God, I'm perfect, and I have all these people around me doing horrible things to me and saying I'm not perfect and saying I'm garbage and saying, but I've decided now for sure. Like, I've changed my neural pathways. I'm perfect now, and nobody is ever going to make me feel like I felt before. That's narcissistic personality disorder. It is a defense against the interruption of the primary attachment at that young of an age. That's how young. And if you know who Trump's dad was, he's a monster. That guy was a monster. But Trump became something different, right? Which is malignant narcissism. It's the dark triad. It is that defense of, I'm perfect and you're never gonna shit on me again. I'm God. God does no wrong. God's perfect. No, everybody wants to have sex with God. It's so strange. All these women, like 29 women, are saying, I essayed them. God's perfect. Why would a woman not want to be touched by God? I promise you that is how he believes in his mind. But in addition to that defense, he was in such an adverse environment that he had to develop two more, like that Machiavellian sadism, like the means to the end is the most important thing, right? And psychopathy, which is, there's narcissism, and the psychopathy later on top of that is terrorizing. These are master manipulators, right? And if you're just a psychopath, it's hard to understand all these things, right? They're under the umbrella of cluster B and the DSM. But if you're just a psychopath, you're a manipulator. You know the difference between right and wrong. You know what you're doing, right? Like, this is a game you're playing. You get off on it, right? And when it's coupled with Machiavellian sadism, that's when you get these like sexual sadism, like people that do horrible things. And when you have that dark triad, that's a Trump. That was who else? When was this? I mean, the term malignant narcissism wasn't coined until one of my favorite people I had the pleasure of meeting in person, Kernberg, one of the most famous psychiatrists. But all of these traits were first described, and this identity and theory was built off of the Nuremberg trials, off of the schmazzies that were being tried, that they brought in psychologists to say, what's going on with these people? And that's what it is. So I just want people to understand. Oh, I know. Oh my God. Karen, I just want to give someone an example. Karen said, I was lucky, had the best mom ever, best friend. I almost want to cry. Like, I promise myself every day before every live stream I won't cry, and I ruin that every time. And you know why? People are always like, why are you obsessed with reality TV? It's not because I think reality TV is necessarily super real or anything. It's because I'm obsessed with human behavior. And I know, when I was a little kid, I did not understand what people like Karen were saying. Like, when my friends would be like, my mom loves me, she's amazing. I was like, that's what I thought too. You're in danger. I would literally try to warn my friends and be like, I thought that too. Like, you need to be careful. And they'd be like, no, I don't need to be here. Like, my mom loves me. And I'm like, you have no idea who she is. Like, that's how I would speak. And then my friends, when we got older, would be like, I'm going to get married. And I'd be like, don't get married. Like, you have no idea. Like, my parents' masks are off. You don't want this for yourself. Like, my parents are still married. They've been married 40 years. Now you see why I'm single and why I don't trust anyone. And I'd be like, you guys have no idea. There's no such thing as love. And now, thank God, when I started live streaming, I had 6 years of therapy under my belt. And I was like, okay, nothing I thought when I was a kid is real. And a big part, I'm not saying therapy saved me. By the way, therapy is not some person you're going to meet that's going to explain the world to you and say, they're not some smart person that's going to save you. Every therapist I met, I was smarter than. They're just going to hold up a mirror and let you see who you are. Those are the good ones, right? That's what they're trying to show you is, hey, let's talk. I don't want to tell you. I want you to discover how you became like you are, right? And there is hope for everyone. And as long as insecure white males continue to say things like, therapy is horrible, therapy is awful, then it's stupid. Therapy, Katie, therapy could bore me too. But it's not about the person. They're not the savior. Talk therapy, really good therapy, is just about you thinking about how things came to be, discovering things about yourself, in my opinion, because I can't stand when people are like, let me tell you what's going on. I'm like, I have to go. Like, you very clearly have no idea what's going on. And they're I know. And I will say this, definitely ask your therapist about their beliefs, right? Who said that? Smashley said, my therapist is a brilliant Haitian woman who is also a professor. See, that's what I'm saying. You need to know what they know and what they think and believe, because that will be all the difference. If you're like, when I was a kid and I was on the edge of, I was going through, you have no idea. essay, like inside the family, all sorts of things. I was being gaslit and people like, bury it deep down inside. It never happened. And they took me to a church counselor who was like, yes, we prayed for 15 seconds and now none of it happened and you need to go ahead and bury it deep down. I'm like, it happened on this church campus. Like, I'm telling you, one of these child pastors like took me in a bathroom, and when I came out, I had no underwear on. Like, I was like and they're like, it's okay, little girl. I was like 4 years old, and they're like, it never happened. Like, you don't want religion brought into therapy, because you're just going to be gaslit 100% of the time. Okay, we got to move on from this, because sometime I'll tell you guys my whole life story. I'm considering, Gumps, it was you, right? Gumps, you're here. It was you that got me that bed desk, right? The thing that goes over my bed that's a desk. I assume it's you, because you got me the desk I'm sitting at right now. I always assumed it. Was it you that bought that? You bought that. I assumed. The thing that goes over my desk. I might start doing lives from my bed. Maybe I'll just talk about this type of stuff, and we can have like... Yeah, well, you've sent so many things. It's hard to remember which the desk I'm at right now. So it's so hard to remember when you're literally. Oh, and by the way, thank you, Ron, for this Gemini necklace. I have an Amazon wish list. Like, I've said this before. I hate appearing weak, but like everything. This is my job. Like, just before this live, I do 5 hours of research. It's a lot. And everything I live off of comes from you all. And most of it, I just reinvest back into the business or it goes towards therapy, and other, obviously other things. But my Amazon wish list is amazing. Gumps is such an amazing woman. I thought, it's a funny story. I used to get all these gifts from like a man's name, and I used to have this joke like, there's some weirdo like sending me gifts, and she's like, no, I'm just sending them from my partner's account. And I was like, okay. I was like, because my instincts are don't accept anything. Like, well, that amount of that volume of things, I'm like, oh my God, I might owe like a man something and I don't know who they are. It's me. You have been so amazing. Like, because I can't, I live with my dad. I don't have a car. I just want to be clear and I'm going to actually show you something right after this. I'm going to get off of our argument and what the things we were talking about before. But I just want everyone to know, when I see people lying, which... Trust me, I'm going to follow this up with a video. I'm going somewhere with this. There's a large argument going on right now on X that like creators are grifters on the left, that they're being paid $8,000 a month by, I think it's called Chorus, which is run by Brian. Wait, what's his last name? Brian Tyler. What is that lawyer's name that we all know? Like, what's his last name? I feel like I'm about to say the wrong name. Brian Tyler Cohen. Thank you. I don't know why I kept wanting to say Green, right? And there's this like, oh, I know. Taylor, I don't know what to think of this woman. I want to say this. When she worked for the Washington Post previously, she's printed so many articles that have gone out. I don't know. I don't want to say attack the right, because I don't even know if she was attacking. I just want to say this. As a former researcher, I think she says and does a lot of things that are emotionally charged and not fact-based. And if you're confused who I'm talking about Taylor Lorenz. She used to be a writer for the Washington Post that like MAGA hated. But I have noticed, even back when MAGA hated her, and you would think that would make me hate her, but I've always noticed, like, I don't know what to make of her. She's very emotionally charged, and she says things that I don't think are factually true. I've thought this for about 5 years, right? Like, truly. Even when she was going after MAGA, I'm like, the general idea is true, but you are saying things like, let me explain what I'm saying. I'm not talking about in her actual published writing, because when you write for something like Wired or like the Washington Post, you have editors. Like, you're not, and licensed fact checkers, part of the National Fact Checker Association. You could write whatever you want, but it's not going to print unless it's true, right? But then when she would get these like they would turn things she had written into like documentaries on TV or appearances in the media, and I would see her speak, I would be like, what in the is that's what, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would just be like, I don't know if anything, like, she would say things that were very concerning to me. So let me just show you, which, hey, here's something the right and the left can agree on, is that I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know enough about her to say why, but I would say the easiest thing I could say is clicks, right? Clicks, like media engagement, creating problems that are very clearly untrue. But again, I don't know why. I don't know why anyone would be doing this. Hold on, I've got to find it, because I was not planning to play this, but now we're on the line of logic. So why not? It's a good one. Where are you? Hold on, I'm just going to email the clip to myself, because sometimes I got too much crap saved up. Where is it? I know it's right here. It drives me nuts when I can't find clips, but I also have the link, so I'll just play it live. I have this theory, though, when I don't record things and play it, that it hurts my live. Hold on. Can we all keep tapping the screen? I know I need to update and keep gifting. This is my Cash App and Venmo. If you would like to support what I do, I would highly appreciate it. This is Friday, right? Yep. Okay. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I just had to look up. There it is. Oh my God. Here, I'm just going to look it up online. I don't have time for this. I know I recorded that somewhere, though. But this ended up involving, I love Brian Baez and the reporting he's done, which I will say, I have nothing to do with Brian Tyler Cohen's chorus, whatever, weird chorus or whatever it is. But I mean, like this, like, well, I can't even remember the name of it, which is sad. But it's like a creator core for Black and brown people, where we get like cool training from like other, like Simone, who works for MSNBC, and other Black and brown people like who help us and give us advice. So that's why I always said, like, I love this guy. Like, I didn't know who he was until I sat in these Zoom meetings with Mr. Jones was in there too at first. Just saying. But like Jolly was in it was like brilliant Black and brown creators, and we used to talk about like how, different things, and during the 2024 election they would like provide us with information and things. Oh wait, Andy reposted another thing about it. Okay, hold on, I'm on his actual page, so hopefully I can find it now. Was it deleted it in some weird way. Oh, here it is. Okay, I'm like, that's so... for a second, I thought he deleted it. And I was like, that is strange. Okay, hold on. Okay, so again, this is about, like, this huge thing that's going on X right now about... It's something being run... I think it's called Chorus, but there might be... Is it We Are Chorus? I don't know. But Chorus, and it's something that Brian Tyler Cohen created, which is much needed. And I just want to be clear. The irony of this, let's say that Brian Tyler Cohen somehow got access to billions of dollars and was giving every leftist creator you knew $8,000 a month. Well, of larger size. I'm not talking about me, but you know what I'm saying? That they were being paid to make content. That would pale in comparison to what I can prove about MAGA creators. Truly, I'm only saying that, and I don't talk about this because I don't believe that anyone, and I mean on the right as well, creators, people who make content and this is their full-time job, should be shamed in capitalism for making a living. Like, it's not wrong for making a living. But I do want to say, when I've never accepted money from any political organization or anyone at all. And I did feel a little uncomfortable, like when I was working for the 2024 campaign or helping, like in Arizona. It did occur to me several times that, like, this is a giant machine, and I might not always agree with everything this machine is pushing, and I would never want to take money because, like, I wouldn't want to be in trouble for not, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I don't think I personally can take money for any of this, but I also personally am living in poverty. So what is the trade? I would never fault anyone, including MAGA creators who are like, hey, I'm just trying to pay my bills and I'm paying them, and I agree with this anyways. But yeah, like, I'll say more after you watch this because I think this will illuminate. But again, there is a Wired.com article that came out, which I think he's going to cite, but you're going to need, I think you have to get through a paywall to see it. So if you don't subscribe to Wired, which when I was in the tech industry, yeah, now, no.
There's a lot of misinformation going on right now because there's an article published in Wired that says a dark money group.
That's it. If you want to screenshot it, a dark money group is secretly funding high-profile Democratic influencers. If you want to go find the article, that is it. And it's written by Taylor Lorenz, who I'm losing respect for because I just think there's so many problems with at this point. I've never said anything like this out loud, but actually, I just want to say I have less problems with the print, what goes to print, because she has editors saving her from herself, and I have more problems with what I've seen her say when she is on shows that that's what I have a problem with. I have a problem with what comes out of her mouth, not writing that went through 5 editors.
Is secretly funding high-profile Democratic influencers. That an initiative aimed at boosting Democrats online offers influencers up to $8,000 a month to push the party line. All they have to do is keep it secret and agree to restrictions on their content. Let me just clear this motherfucker up right the fuck now. Fuck the camera, I'm talking to you real. Nobody, and I mean nobody, tells me what the fuck I can and cannot say. I say what the fuck I want to say, when I want to say it, how I want to say it, and not a motherfuck body got something to say about it. Now that we got that out of the way, I'm going to spare you the details of the article.
Can I say, I don't obviously play all of Brian Baez's articles, which is that all of his posts. That is 100% true. I could show you post after post of his that not only makes me uncomfortable, but I know is 100% antithetical to the Democratic Party. I will stand on 10 toes down on what that man said. He does not give a fuck. No, I would sit with him while CNN anchors were trying to educate us, and he's like loudly talking, making jokes. Like 100%. Nobody controls what he says. I totally agree.
The article is long and boring as fuck, and it's also behind a paywall. Somebody sent me the actual article on a PDF file because who the fuck is paying for Wired? Nevertheless, she's talking about an organization called Chorus, which, by the way, who the fuck is that handsome man on the motherfucking website? Here's your first clue as to how this article is bullshit from jump, because she's framing it as she's outing this secret group of people. This website and Chorus as an organization has been public the entire time. They literally say their purpose right here. Chorus is recruiting, training, and supporting independent...
I think when so a year ago now is pretty much when Jay and I stopped working. I'm pretty sure Jay and I talked about this. Like, it has always been public. It has never been secret. Like, this is factually true. I just want to be... And that's what's scary about Taylor Lorenz is like... for, clicks or views or something, she's like, oh, I have I'll tell you about a secret dark money group no one knows about. And, I've talked about several of them and no one knows about them. Like, I'm pretty sure they've ran ads to get creators to apply. Like, this is the opposite of a secret.
Online voices and building the next era for online news and conversation. Not only that, but there's literally a huge button on the website that says join Chorus, where in order for you to join the Chorus creator community, there's an entire application process for you to even join, and they also tell you the benefits of joining Chorus. They say Chorus Incubator Program is a vibrant pro-democracy learning community for content creators. Participants receive a monthly stipend calibrated to the level of involvement you can commit to the learning sessions. Literally, that's when everything falls apart and you start understanding that Taylor really didn't out anything. She saw public information and wrote an article about it in a negative way so that you could believe it. Then she tried to backtrack and be more specific. She said, point to me one video where any of these content creators reveal that they were receiving funding from the 1630 Fund, a dark money group, prior to our article. But then you find out that Taylor Lorenz is a reporter in her own residence cohort program, seen right here, where she is receiving a monthly stipend of $8,000 plus a $2,000 traveling bonus totaling $50,000 over 6 months from July to December. And the owner of the Omidyar network, which she's a part of, Pierre Omidyar, gave $45 million to the 1630 Fund. Same organization that she's saying is funding Chorus, that's a dark money group. The other thing is she wrote this article that it would create a negative perception for Democratic influencers because now it just comes off as they're only saying this shit because they're paid. She literally named a girl in her article as being part of Chorus, but that girl makes content attacking Democrats all the time and criticizing them for their response in Gaza. I mean, literally, everybody's welcome. But it really sounds like his bitch is mad they didn't get accepted into the motherfucking cohort. Bitch.
We're about to put a meme coin out. And
sorry, that's my awesome. I just love, he's so funny. Okay. Yeah, so I just want to read something. I looked up 1630 Fund is a hub of undisclosed political spending. I just want to say this because, and I want to think about how to say this with not angering other people other leftists on this app. Listen, okay. I always talk about follow the money. And when I first became, I say this every single day. The only answer to any problem is get money out of politics. That's the answer. As long as PACs are funding politics, we have a very big problem. And I mean, that is a very large umbrella statement to make. And I could give you 800 statements underneath it of why it concerns me. But let me okay, you remember how, the whole, what was that thing? F America tour? Right? With whatever that woman's name is who runs National Ground Game. And people started looking into the finances. Okay. And as somebody who spends a lot of time following money and of PACs, if I'm not saying that shit's not concerning, I wish I was. I just want to say this. If you think you deserve to pay yourself however, hundreds of thousands, whatever you think you deserve to pay yourself, then you just defend it. And if you're a woman who's saying, I'm fucking brilliant and I deserve this money, then say that. Own it. Sure, I agree. Because here's what I'm saying. If you look into any PAC's finances on the left, it's going to look like, what the fuck am I donating to? I promise you, you're going to be like, what? But I dare you to go look at PACs on the right. And it's going to be so disturbing that you will just be like, I've lost my faith in American politics. So like that, and none of it is necessarily correct, but I see PACs in a lot of ways as this like fundraising thing and then what's actually, and there are a bunch of people inside them who set up, let's say, consultancy businesses and then pay themselves out huge amounts of money. Like, if you believe that you are going to donate to a PAC and that's going to essentially directly help a person or a cause, I would say figure out another way. I don't know. But, like, I'll say this. Democratic PACs are pristine in comparison to anything else going on the right. I mean, it is like people paying themselves out millions and millions of dollars. But I think it is jarring, and it would be jarring to Republicans too. Someone teach them how to follow the money, because you think we're jarred by that. Be jarred by what's happening in your own PACs. Like, it's terrifying what's happening on the right. Yeah, you just have no money. That's a great way to put it, Tona. You have no way to control what your money's used for, and I'm just telling you, I feel disillusioned. I don't want to say this, though, because I want to say this. I've said this a million times. Until we get money out of politics, we cannot stop funding winning an election, right? But the full answer is, and the good news is, I think the far right and the far left are so in lockstep on this that it's got to stop. It's got to stop. But until it stops, it's the same thing with AIPAC, right? Like, this is the most disgusting shit I've ever seen. That is a PAC who's literally throwing their weight around and blackmailing people while we watch. But I don't know how black men in New York keep getting elected if that money goes away. I don't know the answer, and I understand how to do math. So I just want to acknowledge, when you look at the finances of any PAC, I promise you it's going to gross you out. But I think you just know, if you think National Ground Game and what those finances look like are sick, which, they are, because people were grassroots. Yeah, it's not what you think. If you don't like what happened with National Ground Game, don't give your money to PACs. That's the answer, because it's like throwing money into a black hole. But at this point, it is the only way to play in politics. It takes $2+ billion to elect a president. Like, we don't have options at this point. But that is why, like, people are like, oh, run for politics. I can't shut my mouth. I have a mouth that is not going to shut. And there are so many things that bother me. So, yeah, I think it's actually best for me to just do what I do on the internet and educate people, because, yeah, I don't like any of the financial part of politics. I can't stand watching it and looking at it. But I do want to... I do want to say, I do think this is personally ridiculous. Like, Taylor Lorenz is now putting out an article saying these people are like, I don't know. I'm actually not even sure what she's claiming, that their opinions are being bought. If you receive money, like, I just want to say, as an influencer, there's a backside program of TikTok where you can receive money to make a post, right? Let's say it's for, I don't know, Walmart, and you're making an ad. and there's deliverables. I used to work in advertising, so I know there's deliverables. Like, here's the ad, it's for these jeans, and we need you to hit these X, Y, and Z talking points, right? And we'll pay you X amount. Those are the deliverables that come to ad agencies, that come to influencers and their people. And if you don't want to do that, if that's not something you believe in, you don't have to do it. Period. Like, it's not like people are making content they don't believe in, right? Like, that's the thing. I am more concerned about what was going on with Russian propaganda, attendant media. Right-wing influencers were being paid 200,000, it was more in certain cases, plus per post to spread lies. So I just want to be clear. These people are implying people, and this is, I guess, the top end. But if you have millions of followers, I just want to clarify how this pay scale works. That you should be paid more than $8,000 a post. Like, they're implying people are getting paid $8,000 a month. If there are creators in this group with 1 million followers, they should be paid way more than $8,000 a month. They should be paid way more than $8,000 a post, right? And I encourage anyone who's confused about that. There are different pay scales available on the internet to understand that. It has to do with your following and all of that. But yeah, like, none of that makes sense. Right-wing people were being paid $250. Charlie Kirk was, to spread lies. And I would just say this, like, as people whose brains work, if you're watching a creator, a leftist creator, and they're saying things that are lies, you know what I'm saying? You'll know. Like, if I see a leftist creator lying, then I'm unfollowing them, and I'm going to repost and comment and ask why they're lying, right? Like, but is there anything wrong with not being destitute like I am? No. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's this idea that if you are not completely in poverty, that you're a crook online. That's crazy. I don't think, but I just thought I needed to talk about that and present the idea, because this is a huge topic of conversation. But when I was doing all of those things for the Democratic Party, everything I did, like my rental cars, like, you guys paid for all of it, and I was bankrupt. Like, that's the truth, because I'm so, like, unsure. Like, I never want to have to, like, tell people, like, oh yeah, I was paid to do something. You know, like, it's so hard. I think it's very hard for leftist creators who are idealists to think, like, is it okay to make a living and not be destitute? Like, that's hard. That's a hard thing to determine. But I just thought I would talk. It's a good conversation to think about, because I promise you, I don't promise you, I know, and I could present a mathematical argument that Taylor Lorenz is like, oh, I'm going to, like, get in with Donald Trump and present some corruption on the left. Like, that is a joke compared to the corruption on the right. I could tie creators being paid back to Donald Trump's super PACs to lie for him, not to amplify ideas that are true or things that are true, but to pathologically lie for him. That's how you get paid on the right. I could be rich as... Can you imagine if you woke up and I was like, I'm MAGA now, I'd be rich AF. Every lie I told, I'd be so rich. Like, so if you're ever wondering, like, are leftists, like, grifters? No, if we were real grifters, we'd be on the right. That's, yeehaw, thank you. That's where all... Was that J-Man? Hey, J-Man. Long time, no talk. That's where all the money is. If I was grifting, I wouldn't be doing it over here. I'd be all the way over, and I'm slightly brown. They could claim I'm like Hispanic and black. Can you imagine how much money and a woman? Oh my God, I could clean up. Don't ever wonder if the grifters are over here. Like, the grift, oh my God. Actually, let me just show you what I'm talking about. Let me just show you a grifter. This is real. This is yesterday. Just showing you a grifter who has sold out. And I don't want to do this, but he did it to himself. You know how Caroline Leavitt, like, lets random ass, unintelligent, lying influencers sit in White House press conferences in this, like, little weird side seat? Well, here's who it was yesterday who made up a bunch of feelings or yelled his feelings and lies while citing his millions of followers. Like, I'm just saying, if you are a grifter on the left, like, and you're in chorus and you're a grifter, move right. Like, that's where the money is. Like, this is not the place where you make money.
And I want to ask the question of,
with that, I'll take questions. Here in our new media seat today, we have social media influencer, content creator, Brandon Tatum. Brandon, thank you so much for joining us today. Why don't you kick us off?
Well, Caroline, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And on behalf of everybody that follow me, the millions of people that follow me, I want to say thank you for making a sacrifice and dealing with some of the most disingenuous people on planet Earth at times.
With that,
The millions of white people that follow you, that you either you are Brandon Tatum. I'm going to go ahead and address you directly. You've got millions of white people you're lying to, and a couple of brown and black stragglers who have no idea what's going on, and you are pumping this liar up. Do you see what I'm saying? Don't ever, Taylor Lorenz, come over to the left looking for grifters. Like, am I in a nightmare? You can barely live off $8,000 a month in the United States. She's writing that article. You're looking for grifters on the left? She's lost. Someone needs, if anyone runs into her, help her find her way back over to where the grifters are. Like, this is insane. He's got millions of followers. Bet they're not black and brown people. Bet they're not.
The first question is associated with the shooting that occurred the other day. And I want to ask the question of, we know that it's not a gun thing. Any rational person knows it's not a gun thing. We know it's a mental health issue.
Oh, any rational, logical person who has a supercomputer, who can look up facts on their phone, know that it is in fact an access to abusing. That is the only through statistical analysis, through impact studies, that is the only correct answer, Brandon Tatum. But I know as a grifter who is grifting hardcore, that this must be pathological lying, must be the only way that you make your money. So this is just how I'm highlighting this thing. Taylor Lorenz is implying the left is grifting. If it's the truth, you are just making a living for what you do. If you are antithetical to data, if your thoughts, opinions that you're giving to your quote unquote millions of followers is not data driven and fact based, that is what makes you a grifter. You are making a living off lying to, idiot people on the right, where the only right answer is what makes them feel nice inside. I turned it up a little bit so we could all just relive this nightmare. Oh, and it goes on.
The first question is associated with the shooting that occurred the other day. And I want to ask the question of, we know that it's not a gun thing. Any rational person knows it's not a gun thing. We know it's a mental health issue. So I want to know from you, what is President Trump and the White House going to do to address mental health issues around the country associated with these shootings? And the second thing is Chicago. You know, anybody with a connected brainstem knows that Chicago's crime is out of control. And young black men.
Anybody with a connected brainstem, Brandon, Brandon, your brainstem is not connected. What the? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you guys think? Is he a grifter? Does he know he's an idiot, or is he just an idiot? That's what fascinates me about MAGA. Like, is he doing it on purpose? Or is he this dumb? Do you know what I'm saying? Because, like, Byron Donald, Tim Scott, they know. I don't think there's any possible way they don't know that they're lying. Like, anyone with a connected brainstem? Well, I have a very well-connected brainstem, so I can disprove mathematically everything you're saying. Let's have a moment of silence for this, guys. This is the most disgusting thing. I'm sorry. But yes, I'm going to reset all my gift goals. Thank you for reminding me. It's just when I'm really passionate about things, I stop thinking.
The first question is associated with the shooting that occurred the other day. And I want to ask the question of, we know that it's not a gun thing. Any rational person knows it's not a gun thing. We know it's a mental health issue. So I want to know from you, what is President Trump and the White House going to do to address mental health issues around the country associated with these shootings? And the second thing is Chicago. You know, anybody with a connected brainstem knows that Chicago's crime is out of control. And young black men are getting killed, laying dead in the middle of the streets every single day in Chicago. No president has addressed any of these issues. And so what is the White House going to do to address issues in their capacity to deal with the conflict and violence in Chicago?
Sure. Well, to your first question about this shooting in Minnesota, right now, the administration is focused on helping the people of Minnesota. It's been less than a day, of course, since this tragedy happened. We have federal law enforcement on the ground assisting local law enforcement. This investigation is ongoing. There's still a lot of facts to understand about these circumstances.
The first question is associated with the shooting.
I just can't even speak to the never-ending stream of lies that come out of these people. Hold on, let me say something really quick to get a second. Actually, and let me just, I think the best way to counter a liar is with another intelligent person who's, hold on, I just need to text this. I think I played this like last week, but not all, it's so painful. I don't want to say anything rude, but I want to say everything rude. Like, what are we going to do to address mental health issues? Can we start with you? Brandon Tatum, and whatever break from reality you may or may not be suffering? Let me just say something again, let me play a couple more things and then I can read the proof. But is everyone in America going through a mental health crisis? If you're not, I'm scared that you lack effective empathy and may be a sociopath or a psychopath. Yeah, we all are. Is everyone on medication? No, because Trump keeps defunding people's access to doctors and mental health care. Like, you're asking what they're doing. I can tell you what they've done. They have taken away any access and any hope of anyone ever had of access to mental health. Mathematically, Brandon Tatum, not whatever weird shit and lies you have to say to fluff white people to feel like you're doing something. Factually, if you're saying, which I can mathematically prove is not the case, but if you're saying that every mass tragedy is a result of mental health, then you should not be sitting here fluffing Donald Trump's White House. You should be saying, how dare you steal medical coverage, particularly mental health coverage, from average Americans? That's what you should, and the access to medication that could help them, that's what you should be saying. But apparently, you have never looked up a statistic in your life to understand that not only are you actually an idiot for implying that the reason mass tragedies occur is because of mental health. But now you're not even smart enough to understand that the people you're on your knees for, Donald Trump giving double-fisted Andrew Jacksons to, they're the people that took access away to mental health care, you idiot. Like, I cannot with these people. Like, this is a grifter, Taylor Lorenz. If you're looking for people who are paid to grift, this is what grifting is. People that are selling information that is blatantly a lie, that cannot be backed up by facts, that cannot be backed up by data. This is grifting. If you are a creator on the left who is getting paid $8,000 a month to tell the truth that can be backed up by independent studies, by statistical analysis, by data, super jelly. I'm not there yet myself, but you're not a grifter. You're just a person who is being paid in capitalism to spread the truth. And that's why I wanted to use